hot games. So I think, especially because we didn't have any real hot days during training camp, you know, we're still getting used to the extreme heat. You know, I mean, it was hot during training camp, but none of those, like, we have one maybe ridiculous day. And we need to get it even hotter just so we're ready. I don't want to ever be shocked on game day.
How'd the scout team work go today compared to yesterday?
Yeah, we did a little less of it today. You know, because like I said, you're still in that kind of transition. There's still, you're kind of in between game prep. You're transitioning from camp where you're just working on our stuff to a little bit of scheming for an opponent. In that transition, there's still some of both going on. So, you know, I think guys are getting used to it. We're just learning how to do it. You know, I mean, and it's everybody. You know, the older guys on our team, even the starters know what to do in scout team, but they're still getting back into that mode of what we're looking for when we get to those periods of practice.
You said yesterday started out kind of sluggish, got better today, a little better from the start.
A little better from the start. You know, I liked the finish yesterday a little bit better, but there are some good things in the finish. The effort was good. At the end of practice, the effort throughout practice I thought was a little sharper and crisper today. You know, a little sloppier in execution. I think if, you know, I mean, talking to guys coming off the field too, guys weren't happy coming off the field today. And that's okay for me. You know, I'd rather them be unhappy with themselves because they didn't perform at the level they expected than me be unhappy because I'm upset with the effort.
Individually, we haven't talked a lot about a guy like Gabe Jackson. How's he done in camp, and how's he helped out with that first team offensive line?
Good. You know, I mean, Gabe's becoming a steady player, someone we count on. You know, I mean, you got the experience last year. You know, I mean, I guess for a sophomore, it's kind of weird to be a vet kind of on the old line as a sophomore, but he is, and you know, understands what we expect, understand what we do in the program, and really for him, he's the one that he is working with the left tackle, so he's the one that's working with the new guys, you know, where everybody else has kind of worked together on the line before. So, but I think he's helping that out a lot.
So some things maybe you've noticed with that really stuck out with you helping them out?
I just think it's getting used to working with the guy, you know what I mean, and getting used to how that is. I think last year he was between two seniors, and they helped him out a lot. So now, I mean, he's got a senior inside of him, so they're, you know, I think that the teamwork, the communication, all that's great. So, and you know, working with the tackles outside is just, I think, just getting used to them as being different. You know what I mean? You get used to working with Derek Sherrod, and somebody comes in with a little different skill set, you got to get used to that.
So you see anything from the left tackles? You believe that you've got a starter now?
We have a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, we have a good idea who's going to start in that first game, but you know, like I said, you went in last year with you felt good who the starters were, and you felt good who the backup was. You know, and so it's, as you're getting ready for the games, it's not just about who the starter is, but who's the next guy on the field. That, you know, you didn't just lose Derek Sherrod when you lost Phil Freeman last year. It might not seem like, wow, well, you know what, Phil Freeman wasn't an All-American like Derek Sherrod, but you lost two senior tackles last year, and those are the shoes that are being filled by these young guys. You know, that just with a gap and some, you know, that kind of older guy gap that we have in the program, it's had to been filled in by younger players and obviously a junior college player.
Victor Charles, team captains. You know, I think last year you had a couple of JUCO guys as captains. I mean, what is it about these guys? Only here, you know, 2 years, but they seem to earn respect pretty quick.
Well, you know what? I think the guys that we recruit, we kind of tell them what to expect coming into our program, and you know, we go out and recruit certain guys. You know, I mean, Vic Ballard. We recruited Vic Ballard because we liked his skill set, but loved his all the intangibles about him. That's important for us in recruiting in our program. And I mean, obviously, nobody else realized that because I don't think he was any stars by anybody or anything. So, you know, we saw that, and he comes in, understands what we expect in a work ethic in the program. You know, and if you sell out, if you work, you're committed, you're ready to sacrifice to be the best you can be, great things happen to you. And you know, you have a hard time finding any two harder workers than Charles Mitchell and Vic Ballard.
You had 4 guys last year, 2 this year. Was any reason behind that? Just
no, we had 2 the year before.
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of you know, depends on team votes, and you know, balance between offense and defense sometimes, and you know, I look at those two guys. Those two guys all represent what our program's about. Great students, great people, hard workers, tough football players. That's Mississippi State football.
You don't talk about the contrast because there's Charles Mitchell, the highly recruited guy, and the Vic Ballard you say was not that highly recruited.
Yeah, and I bet people look back on that now and would like to have both of them on their team. So you can tell what that stuff means during the, I guess, what all those things mean in recruiting.
Does it finally feel like football's finally creeping up a little bit?
Does it feel like it's creeping up?
Yeah, is it finally...
It's not creeping up. I mean, it's jumping on us, you know. 1 week from today, we're walking off the practice field, and, you know, that's it. Walk through, you know, tomorrow, you know, it's, what is it? So 1 week from today, it'll be Friday, and, you know, and walking off the field on Thursday practice, and, you know, before you get your Friday walkthrough, you're loading the bus, getting ready to go play. So it's upon us, you know, and I think our guys are doing a good job, and our coaches, we got to keep stressing the sense of urgency to shift out of training camp. You know, 9 days from now, we walk off the field, it can't be like, ooh, you know, you had a bad practice today. You know, it's permanent at that point. So you can't do that.
I know you got a lot of redshirt freshmen from last year that you're going to depend on this year. You talk about how important that group is to just the depth.
Well, it's huge, and you know, and development within the program. You know, which is what we want. You know, it's kind of that junior class that we have right now is kind of small. You know, when you look at it, there's, you know, there's a bunch of true juniors and a couple red shirt juniors, but there's not a lot of guys in that class. You know, so when you count, we're counting on a lot of young players within the program to make a difference. And this is their opportunity. You know, fortunately, a lot of them, they understand. They've been through training camp, they've been through season, they've been through spring ball, they've been through an off season, and understand, you know, what our expectations are for you when you step on the field, how hard we expect you to play.
Have you gotten a sense that those guys are now fully aware of just how close the season is and that it's time for them to perform on the field?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, they're still, because they're going through it for the first time. You know, I mean, they a lot of them dressed last, you know, guys that have dressed, even guys that are not just redshirt freshmen, even some of the older guys that haven't played before. You know, they've been through it, but they haven't been through it where they're being counted on as the man. Yeah. You know, and you know, and that can be anybody. You know, from our punter, long snapper to, you know, some of the guys at the line, all the guys at the linebacker position who, you know, last year we had Chris and KJ. You know, and so, you know, I got to be ready for a couple plays, and now everyone's looking like, you're the man. We need you to make the plays. And I think, not that they're not ready, but I think it's just different, and we got to see, everything's kind of new to them. They're preparing a little differently than they haven't passed. You hope they didn't. You hope they prepared that way last year, but human nature, when you know, chances are I'm only going to play 10 plays, and then this year I'm going to play 60 plays, human nature makes you prepare a little bit differently.
Specifically, could I ask you just about Caleb Ewells and is you got a pretty decent chance to start at defensive end maybe? I mean,
he's got a chance. He's got a chance. You know, I mean, Caleb, which I love, which is his athleticism, his size, it gives him potential to play end or tackle. Mm-hmm. You know, kind of like a Fletcher Cox in that way. You know, I mean, he's got that size to allow you to play a D tackle, but he has the speed to play D end. You know, and so. Caleb works really hard at fundamentals, works hard at the scheme, is hard, you know, I mean, believes in our program. You're not going to find a better character kid. You know, now he has to be prepared to, when the lights come on, to go perform showtime. You know, I mean, the curtain's coming open and it's showtime.
Where's he going to get more reps?
It's probably 50-50 right now through camp. Maybe a little more inside through camp.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember. I think I've heard you say this, maybe one of the other coaches say this. In the off season, you really only worry about any scouting of the first 3 games, and then kind of get back to after that you can see what everybody else has been doing. How much? Obviously now you're more concerned with Memphis. How much have you looked ahead to Auburn and LSU, especially with that 5-game turnaround?
You do a lot, you know, as the coaching staff. We do a lot in the spring, not with our players. You know, I mean, you before summer vacation, you got to do some stuff on LSU because you're You know, I mean, you gotta travel back from Auburn